Hello and welcome to Granada Reports. We're live with the latest across the northwest.
Hello, thanks for joining us on the programme this evening.
The father of a trainee police officer from Bury has told an inquest that his son suffered bullying and racism before he took his own life.
Senior doctors give evidence that the public inquiry into Lucy Letby's crimes, including a registrar who exchanged hundreds of messages with Letby at the time of the attacks.
The veteran who died with no family, who didn't have to make his final journey alone.
The little girl from Liverpool proving there should be no stigma when it comes to stomas.
After 50 years in show business, how this award might be the most special of all for Les Dennis.
And in the weather, so much colour this season, but still so much grey out there at times. A bit of a mixed week coming up, all the details to follow.
Well, first tonight, the father of a trainee police officer from Bury has told an inquest that his son suffered bullying and racism before he took his own life.
Anugrah Abraham, who was just 21, feared he would lose his job and suffered nightmares about his work.
However, those claims were not accepted by his employer, West Yorkshire Police, the force's lawyer said. Our reporter, Katie Oscroft, has the latest from the inquest in Rochdale.
Well, it was a very emotional morning during this hearing. Listen to the family of Anu Abraham describe the happy, caring person they had lost. Before the formality of what will be a lengthy inquest, photographs of him throughout his life were shown on screens around the coroner's court. His mother Sonia sobbed as she watched the images and as she went on to give evidence about her only son. On the one hand, his parents and his sister, who left here a short time ago with relatives, described Anu's joy and their pride when he secured a degree apprenticeship as a trainee police officer. But then they told how it went downhill and he became under intense pressure. His father, Amar Abraham, said his son was criticised, even if he did everything correctly. He said his son had nightmares about being strangled by a colleague so bad that at one stage father slept with his son. His mother said he feared for his job and daren't tell his colleagues about the abuse he received when he was working alone in a white neighbourhood. And his sister Alicia said he was finding it hard to talk to anyone he could trust in the police force. Well, the solicitor for the West Yorkshire force, Hugh Davis, said Anu Abraham had a mentor at work, had been put on a development programme to help him and was given counselling. He said officers will be giving evidence during this inquest and that they would tell a different story. Well, the Independent Office for Police Conduct was asked to investigate this case. It has done so and it will release its findings at the end of this inquest in about 3 weeks. Katie Oscroft, ITV News, Rochdale.
Well, next tonight, 3 senior doctors have been giving evidence at the public inquiry into Lucy Letby's crimes, including a junior doctor who the hearing heard became very close to Letby at the time of the attacks.
Yeah, the doctor, who can't be identified for legal reasons, was asked to explain the large volume of messages they exchanged. Another doctor told the hearing that she dismissed the thought of a poisoner on the loose on the neonatal unit as so fantastical it couldn't be true.
Well, our correspondent Andy Bonner was watching proceedings today. Andy.
Yes, Mel. Dr. Yu was a paediatric registrar, the most senior registrar in the neonatal unit between 2015 and 2016. The inquiry heard how he shared over 1,300 Facebook messages with Lucy Letby between June and September of 2016. Asked to explain that, he said Letby was struggling with her mental health, and I think I picked up on that and I'd offered some support. That support, it grew. I understand she slept very poorly because of worry and anxiety. There were often messages that were passed throughout the day and sometimes late at night, earlier in the morning. Well, the inquiry heard that some of the messages discussed the deteriorating condition of a baby. He received a message from Letby saying she was having a quiet moment to cry. He replied, "Lucy, poor little thing." Asked if the messaging was appropriate, he said today, in hindsight, no. Looking at the content of the messages here, I've shared too much. It's common to give updates on how patients are without naming them, without giving lots of clinical detail, to help the recipient understand where the patient is up to. I gave at that time details that I thought were helpful, but I see now that that probably wasn't the case. Well, the inquiry heard that messages went from information about the child to frivolous, casual conversation. The doctor admitted today that that was entirely inappropriate. Earlier today, the inquiry heard from consultant paediatricians who'd worked in the same neonatal unit at the Countess. Dr. Z.A. initially dismissed the thought of someone deliberately harming a child on the ward, but in March 2016, she said there was a general unease about the sudden, unexpected and unexplained nature of events and the correlation with Lucy Letby being present. She was part of a group of consultants that met with senior hospital management in January 2017. All of them seemed to be speaking with the same tone, she said, and it very much seemed like we'd been called into the headmaster's office like naughty school children. She said Chief Executive Tony Chambers said he was drawing a line and we were not to cross it, which was said in quite a threatening tone. I took it very much to mean that if we continued to carry on raising our concerns, then my job would be at risk. I went home that night and my husband worked out how long we could pay our mortgage and bills for if I were to lose my job. The inquiry continues here tomorrow.
Bonner in Liverpool, thank you very much.
In other news today, and Jewish and Muslim communities in the northwest are reflecting today on the anniversary of the Hamas-led attack on Israel. Since October the 7th last year, our police forces have recorded a huge rise in cases of anti-Semitism and Islamophobia, including abusive threats, vandalism and assaults.
It's really tense, it's really emotive. And I just hope there will be a chance for people to reflect on the shared human suffering that has gone on over this past year.
The Reform Party will launch a private prosecution against men suspected of being involved in a disturbance at Manchester Airport in July if they are not charged by the Crown Prosecution Service. Footage of a fracas at the airport went viral and appeared to show an officer kicking and stamping on the head of Fahir Amaz as he and his brother were restrained by officers. 2 female police officers were hit to the ground during the incident. The police watchdog is investigating the incident and nobody has been charged. Now, to a heartwarming example of community spirit in Bury this morning. A call to arms went out after Army veteran Derek Thompson died aged 92 with no immediate family.
Yes, there were fears no one would attend his funeral, but as Paul Crone reports, ex-servicemen, neighbours and even those who'd never met Derek turned out in force.
Army veteran Derek Thompson's final journey was not made alone. There were those who knew him, but there were also many that didn't who came to his funeral, all sharing a common aim for the former soldier who died aged 92 without any immediate family to be remembered, following an appeal on social media for people to attend the service.
We might not be related by blood or marriage, but the oath of allegiance, the uniform that we wore, makes us family. We lived together, we drank together, we did everything together, so it's only fitting that we send one of our own, one of our brothers, off with a good farewell.
Derek enjoyed going to the Crown Veterans Breakfast Club in Bury. Very little is known about his time in the armed forces, including the regiment he served in. But he was a popular visitor at the club, and when he died, there was no hesitation for as many people as possible to attend his funeral.
This means the world to me, because I thought I was going to stand here alone. But my brothers and sisters are here, Derek's neighbours are here, and it just means the world, because nobody should leave this earth alone.
He was just so lovely, always had a smile on his face, and every time I saw him, he always just made me feel better, he was just so warm and just lovely, just a lovely person.
The fact that Derek was a widower with no children and no siblings meant his funeral could have been a very lonely occasion, but the local community were determined that was never going to happen. Inside the East Lancashire crematorium, it became clear just how the community had come together to pay their last respects. On top of Derek's coffin, a photograph with his late wife, Pam. They were married for 67 years. Finally, a rendition of The Last Post and a long line of salutes ensured the former soldier got the send-off he deserved. Paul Crone, ITV News, Radcliffe.
A well-deserved send-off indeed. Well, next tonight, the little girl making a huge difference for those who wear a stoma.
That's right. 10-year-old Jessica Dow spent the weekend marking Stoma Awareness Day by gathering with her friends in her hometown of Liverpool to raise awareness and by turning the city's landmarks purple.
Yeah, Jessica's had a stoma for 6 years, which she's named Apple. And the good news is she's here with us in the studio, along with her mum, Kim. Lovely to see you both. Jessica, you've had a really busy weekend. Tell us what you've been up to.
So, when in the weekend, loads of my friends with stomas all came together in the Liverpool centre, and we were all raising money we were all raising money for Colostomy UK.
What was the best part of the weekend?
Best part of the weekend was probably because those people met loads of other people with stomas, and some of them never even met people with stomas.
And you were telling me that you met somebody who has just had one, and now you're best friends. Is that right? Yeah. You want to make people feel more comfortable about stomas, don't you? Tell us a bit about why you want to do that.
Because I want to tell everybody that there's nothing to be afraid of a stoma, because stoma is like having superpower and you can still do anything with one.
Kim, tell us how proud you are of Jessica, everything that she's done, because she's been raising awareness for quite some time now. Like, we were able to light Liverpool purple over the weekend. I mean, she's doing incredible stuff, isn't she?
Yeah, she is. We are so proud of her. She just battles on every day. The buildings, it was big this year. We did get them lit up 3 years ago, which was just the tower, St John's Beacon and the Mersey Gateway Bridge. And then last year, Jessica and two of her friends come together and we got the Lava building lit up as well. But this year we had all the other buildings lit up, so it was really nice.
It looked amazing. I mean, Mum, do you think there is still a degree of shame to having a stoma? Is that still an issue?
Not so much shame, but a lack of understanding of what people with a stoma go through and need. And that's why Colostomy UK campaign this year is called Do You See Me? So people understand that. You know, people like Jessica and everybody out there living with a stoma.
Have you had times when you've gone into the disabled toilets, for example, and people are looking at you, in a funny way because they assume that there's absolutely nothing wrong with Jessica. She doesn't need to use those facilities.
Yeah, it is quite a few times. You walk in with a child and they look at you like to say, why are you going in there? But she's entitled to use the disabled toilet, so we just go on in.
Yeah. And Jessica, tell us a little bit about your teddy that you've brought in, because he's got a stoma as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, so this is Botany, and I got him 2 months before I got my stoma, but I didn't know what a stoma was. But then when I got Botany, he had his bag on and he had a little stoma. But I saw that his stoma was red. That's why I named my stoma.
That's brilliant. Let's just have a really quick look. He's got one. Oh, brilliant. That's fabulous.
Well, Jessica, keep doing what you're doing. You're a superstar, and well done for raising so much awareness. And Kim, thank you.
Thank
I'm very
you.
proud, Mum. Jessica and Kim, good to see you.
Thanks for coming in. Thank you.
Here is the latest with the ITV News with Charlene.
Coming up, 1 year on since Israel's worst single terror attack as conflict in the Middle East rages on. Vigils are held across Israel, remembering the 1,200 people killed by Hamas on October the 7th. One of the hostage survivors, who was held in captivity for 54 days, speaks to us about the brutality of her ordeal. 41,000 Palestinians have been killed since that day. We look at how the region has changed. Join us for those stories and more from 6:30.
Time for sport now, and Manchester City claim victory in the first of their battles with the Premier League, Mike.
Yeah, that's right. Very important to stress this is nothing to do with those 115 charges for alleged breaches of financial rules. This is a separate case over commercial deals. You might remember City launched a legal battle against the Premier League back in June over something called associated party transaction rules. Now, these rules had restricted City when trying to secure sponsorship deals with companies linked to the club's owners. Just 4 of our sides managed victories in the Football League over the weekend, all in League Two. Accrington Stanley with their first win of the season, beating Morecambe 2-1. Andrew Dallas scored a late winner as Barrow won 2-1 at home to Cheltenham Town. Crewe Alexandra are just outside the playoff places after their 2-0 victory over Gillingham. And Junior Luamba was the hero, scoring the only goal of the game as Salford City beat AFC Wimbledon. Manchester City are top of the Women's Super League. They made it 2 wins from their first 3 matches, beating West Ham 2-0. Liverpool recorded their first win of the season in dramatic fashion. Marie Herbinger with a stoppage-time penalty in the 3-2 result at Tottenham. Everton versus Arsenal ended goalless. Next to boxing, and a triumphant homecoming for Liverpool's Nick Ball. Known as the Wrecking Ball, he topped the bill at the city's M&S Bank Arena on Saturday night, producing a stunning performance to successfully defend his WBA World Featherweight title. A spectacular stoppage of American Ronnie Rios in round 10. Nick's been speaking to David Chisnall.
It was a good, special feeling, yeah, I can't really explain it, but it's always something that I knew would happen. It's good to finally do that and say that I've done it. You know, my pro debut was in a nightclub, so from that to this, it's good.
How proud are you when you see a fighter go out there in his home city, your home city, and just represent like that?
Yeah, it's brilliant. He's, he just properly lit the place up, didn't he? And there he is in round 10. Massive burst of energy, savage KO. You know, it was yeah, extremely proud of him, and the city as well. You know, they really turned out for him. The place was booming. Electric wasn't a seat in the house. It was a great night.
You've got one of the belts. There's 4 of them out there. You want more?
Yeah, that's it. There's 4 of them out there. I've got 1 of 4, so there's another 3. So get them, really. And would it be in Liverpool again? How much would you like to have, after that experience of the weekend, another big fight in Liverpool? Yeah, 100%, because that was a special night. So it's bringing it back in it to Liverpool, bringing big time boxing back to Liverpool. So I don't see why not.
Meanwhile, Wigan Warriors also produced a knockout performance as they booked their place in Rugby's Super League Grand Final. The reigning champions brushed aside local rivals Lee Leopards in the playoff semi-finals. They ran out 38-0 winners and will face Hull KR in Saturday's final at Old Trafford. The 2 sides were there this afternoon for their pre-match media activities, and Wigan's head coach has been reflecting on making back-to-back grand finals.
It just feels equally exciting. Yeah, I think each year is unique in its own right. So, yeah, I don't think anyone get bored of playing in the big games or turning up at events like this and seeing the players walk out on the biggest stage. So, no, it fills me with pride and anticipation.
And we'll have lots more on the grand final later in the week. But that's your sport, guys.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Mike. Now we end tonight with a man who, in his own words, is a jack of all trades and master of some.
Les Dennis really has done it all. Family Fortunes, Coronation Street and even Shakespeare.
And now he's been recognised for his work to help Variety, the children's charity.
And this is an award he'll treasure forever, as he told Caroline Whitmore.
Les Dennis, tonight, this is your life.
Really?
Yes.
You heard?
Les Dennis.
Yes, Caroline.
The last time we chatted was over 10 years ago, and we ended up talking about poo.
We were talking about poo, yeah. I think Tom, my youngest, was a baby, and, well, yeah, it must be over 10 years ago, because he's 13 now. I think I said to you, it's only poo.
Here we are now, 10 years on.
No poo.
No poo. You're looking well.
Thank you.
You're here at your house in Cheshire.
Thank you. I'll be 71 on Saturday. I'll be on stage in Ghost on my birthday in Leicester. I'm on tour in Ghost the Musical. I'm not playing, you'll be surprised to know, Patrick Swayze's character. I'm playing the Whoopi Goldberg character. No, I'm not. And we're coming to Blackpool, 3rd of December to the 7th, I think. I'm so lucky to be working so much, you know. You never know, this career, you know, you never know what's coming next. That's the exciting thing.
You never know what's coming next, but what did happen last week?
I won the Variety Legends of Industry Awards. Ricky Tomlinson, Jane McDonald, Shakin' Stevens. I was the only one I didn't know. We're all getting these awards. It's a great charity, Variety Children's Charity. We raised over 140,000 on the night, and Lynn Staunton, the development director, she does a brilliant job. You know, they help disabled and disadvantaged children. It was wonderful, you know. I've not won much, so it was a wonderful thing. As you can see, there's lots of photos. Oh, Panto Award, I've won that. But this is really treasured. It's sitting there forever.
What do you call this wall, Les?
I call it the ego wall. You know, the rest of the house, I don't put photos of myself up, but this is the only one where I indulge and think, you know, looking back, the things I've done are just so varied.
53 years.
53 years. I was Amos in the wonderful stage show Chicago. Down the Dock Road, I produced at the Royal Court with Kevin Fearon and Alan Bleasdale. With Michael Ball in Hairspray. We did it recently in the West End. A film, Intimate Relations, with Julie Walters and Rupert Graves, that I'm very proud to have appeared in.
What has been your highlight from your career?
It's the years I spent with Dustin G. He was amazing.
You come from a very rough part of Liverpool like myself. What was it like the early days?
Oh, we're very poor, Jimmy. I thought knives and forks were jewellery till I was 16.
So lovely chatting to you. Over a decade later.
Yeah, after the poo incident.
You've now got a little puppy, so there's even more poo.
It's only poo. Thanks, Caroline.
Go on.
Oh, I love him. Here's Emma with the weather.
Mum, wet wipes, toilet or bin?
Bin. Why?
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hello there, hope you've had a super day and hope you enjoyed the weekend as well. As we plunge into the new week, well, it's all looking rather unsettled with sunny spells and showers or longer spells of rain at times. A mild start to the week but turning cooler from Wednesday onwards with the potential for some grass frosts at weekend. Yes, you did hear me correctly. However, nothing too unseasonal. So low pressure out to the west of us is the main driver for our weather at the moment, with cloud and showers circulating anti-clockwise around that. However, the air mass sequence and movie does show very clearly how we get this cold plunge of air directly from the north from Wednesday onwards as that low pressure system pulls away eastwards. So rewinding to the next few hours, a few showers continue. However, they are beginning to fade now, so clearer skies up to midnight. But from midnight onwards, it's all downhill. Well, it will be cloud and the next few outbreaks of rain pushing northwards, also turning a little bit misty and murky, particularly over higher ground, the Pennines especially. Those temperatures milder than last night as well. The wind's beginning to freshen up, and then we are into Tuesday. The sun's up just before 7:30 in the morning, sets just before 6:30 in the evening. So as you can imagine, a bit cloudy, damp and overcast first thing tomorrow. Skies brightening from the south, spreading northwards, but that brings with it again a fair scattering of showers. Some of these could be heavy, the wind's freshening up a little bit, and those temperatures slightly down on today's values but still above average for the time of year. The showers continue overnight into Wednesday. Wednesday itself is going to be a windier day, but low pressure is still the name of the game. Sunny spells, scattered showers. For Thursday and Friday, it looks like it's all turning dry, although still some scattered showers around, but more of that northerly feed, so temperatures on the slide. Bye-bye.
Cleaned up well.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
To be on Family Fortunes.
Really?
Dennis.
I would have been the weakest link in our family.
Bye-bye.
Bye.